Right, today I'm going to be putting to bed the myth that you can tone up your muscles once and for all. It's a bed bug of mine, it's grinding my gears, and it's the most common thing I hear in the gym from women especially. They will say this exact phrase to me: I don't want to lose any weight, I just want to tone up. That phrase is the absolute bane of probably me and most other coaches, and today we're just going to debunk the myth of toning up muscles. So the myth starts and spans from the idea that lightweight and high reps will get us something called toned muscles. This is what they say. They say if you lift heavy, you'll get bulky, you'll look like a man, all of a sudden you'll put on loads of muscle and you'll look manly and you won't look female. But if you do loads of light weights for loads of reps and you're flapping around for ages in the gym, all of a sudden those muscles will become toned. Now, the first problem with this, other than the fact it's completely wrong, in literally every single aspect, light weights aren't conducive to muscle growth, and high reps aren't conducive to muscle growth, and toned muscles aren't a real thing. Let's tackle this first point. What do they mean by toned, and why are they so confused, and why are they getting this wrong, and why do they think it has nothing to do with their weight? So what most women mean, and most men sometimes when they say that they want toned muscle, is they want visual firmness. They don't want sagging of the skin. They don't want rolls, flabs, anything like that. They want nice tight skin, and they want clear, defined muscle, so roundness and shape. But clearly when they say they don't want to be bulky and muscly like a man, they mean they don't want masses of muscle. They just want a nice, visually firm and defined set of limbs on their body, maybe some lines on their stomach, not abs, but just definition and this visual firmness that everyone describes as a toned look. So we're going to quickly talk about what that actually is as opposed to what people think it is. So to actually become visually toned, if we're going to use that as a proper term to just mean nice defined muscles and firmness of the skin and firm muscles, firm bodies, healthy bodies, what it actually is, and just boils simply down to, is an increase in muscle mass and a decrease in fat mass. This will then make the skin be more tightly wrapped around these muscles, and there'll be less subcutaneous fat to basically warp and get rid of that shape that people are looking for. So when they say, and they walk into the gym and they say, I don't want to lose any weight, I just want to tone up, they're half right in the fact that they don't have to lose weight. They do sort of have to just recomposition. So they could be a 60 kilo female, and then they could recomp, still be 60 kilos, but be more visually toned. But they're missing the fact when they say they don't want to lose weight, they're right. But what they do need to lose is fat. And oftentimes they need to lose a lot more fat than they think to actually have this visual appearance of being toned. Most people greatly overestimate how good of a shape they are in and how quick it will be to get the shape they want to be in. If you were to ask, show me some pictures of what this toned body looks like, or show me some women that you aspire to be, not only are they going to be showing me images that are probably edited, warped, or these very picturesque individuals in proper lighting, ready, photo shoot ready to get that body to look that certain way. They're also going to overestimate how easy it is, underestimate how hard it is, and how much of a difference they'll actually have to make in their body's distribution of fat and muscle. They're definitely going to need to build a lot of muscle to get that look and lose a lot of fat to get that look. They just don't think it, because that woman might be the same sort of size as them. They might be the same weight, exactly the same weight, but this person, their body fat will be much lower, their muscle mass will be much higher. So let's get into that. Muscles cannot tone. The idea that the lightweight, high reps will change the visual appearance of the muscles isn't a real thing. Muscles can either get bigger or they can get smaller, and the amount of fat we have can either go up or it can go down. So toning up is literally just getting bigger muscles and less fat, and that will change the visual appearance of your body while keeping your weight the same. So now we said toning isn't a real thing. Let's talk about the elephant in the room that everyone always says, I always hear when I say, actually, you can't lift light weights, you need to lift heavy weights and build muscle. The problem to that solution that everyone comes up with is this: I don't want to get bulky, lifting heavy will turn me into a man. First of all, great for body positivity to say that women with muscles look like men, and say it's a negative thing and be scared of it. That's body positivity 2025. You're allowed to look any way you like. as long as that way isn't muscular and healthy. I get it a lot myself. As a man, people say I'm, look a certain way and they're not a fan of it, which is a lovely double standard, but we'll get into that. This is the standard that we get from women to say that muscles are unattractive, manly, and they don't like them and they don't want them. That's sort of where this toning myth comes from. And it all spans from the idea that lifting heavy will somehow overnight turn you from a feminine body to Mr. Olympia, which is not the case. I mean, plenty of guys in the gym will know they've been lifting for years and they're not big enough yet. It takes a long time to build muscle. It's not going to be a case of you do one heavy set as a woman and all of a sudden you're bulky and look like a man. It is very difficult to do. It takes a long time to achieve. And in order to actually get that toned look, their frame does need to hold more muscle and less fat, so that appearance of that firmness, that definition, that visually defined roundness, smoothness that they're looking for can actually happen. They do need to build muscle, and at some point they are going to need to stop flapping around with light weights and actually lift something heavy to achieve those results. So ladies and gentlemen, if you actually want to tone up and you want to stop flapping around with the light weights and wasting your time, toning up is in disguise actually just a body recomposition. You do not have to lose weight. You can stay the same weight. You will build muscle and you will lose fat gradually over time. A maintaining sort of approach. So the best way to do this is to lift with progressive overload, gradually add reps and weights to the bar, and we're not lifting in these lightweight 20 rep sets where we can't feel any muscle and we just choose to stop. We will be lifting to failure. We will be lifting below that 15 rep range. Please and thank you. We will be eating enough protein, 1 gram per pound, to not only maintain our muscle mass that we have, but to build some new muscle as well. And we're going to need to eat in a moderate to slight calorie deficit, depending on how quick or slow we want to get there, in order to shed away some of that body fat, but we'll have enough protein in there to hold on to those muscles. And lots of times people who say they want to tone up, obviously they don't know what it is. They don't know much about the sport. They don't know much about training. So they are saying tone up. They are probably going to be a beginner if they're using this kind of language. So I recommend a slight calorie deficit, but if they're more advanced and they want to recomposition, they can probably get away with a more moderate deficit. So slight deficit, let's say we'll take their maintenance calories and take off 10%. So once they've calculated their TDEE and their NEAT, so their total daily energy expenditure, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, then they can sort of roughly gauge how much they need to eat, or they could download Chronometer, fill in the numbers for themselves on the site, let that calculate it for them. It's a bit easier, it's a bit quicker. They can get counting their calories, tracking their calories, put themselves in a 10% deficit, eat that 1 gram per pound of protein, progressively overload those weights, and over time they could recomposition. So if we are looking to tone up or recomposition, basically change the way our body looks but remain the same body weight, would I recommend bulking and then cutting, or cutting and then bulking? In this case, I wouldn't recommend either, because as I said, people who are new to the gym, especially these ladies who are new to the gym, they're not really, if they're saying out loud, the first thing they say is, I don't want to lose weight, then recommending them do a cut is almost like telling somebody they don't want to do something. If they don't want to cut, they're not going to put effort into it. They're not going to get results out of it. They're not going to cut properly. And likewise, if they say they don't want to get too bulky, recommending for somebody to bulk is almost just going to go straight in one ear, out the other, and they won't listen to you. So recommending somebody who says they don't want to lose weight and don't want to get too bulky to either bulk or lose weight, basically, both cases they're going to say no to. So if this is you and you are in this camp and you have heard the phrase or you've said the phrase, you're trying to help somebody, you're a coach, you've got friends who say, I want to tone up in this sort of language, recommending a cut or a bulk to begin and then recomp with a bulk or a cut afterwards is probably not going to be the case. If you are completely interested in bulking or cutting and you want to tone up recomposition, and I've managed to persuade you that it's a myth and you can do it, then if you are very lean, we start with the bulk and we recomp into the cut. And then if you're slightly over fat, then we'll start with a cut and we'll go into a bulk. We'll put that size on and then we'll cut back down until we're happy with our look. But when we say recomposition, if we're 60 kilos, we might bulk up to 65, cut back down to 60, see if we've made any progress, or cut down to 55, bulk back up to 60, see how we look. But I'd say for most people who are in the tone up camp, looking for a recomposition, the method before with that slight calorie deficit, adequate protein, progressive overload over time, maintaining would be the best way to go. But plain and simple, wrap up the video. There is no such thing as toning muscles. There is no special training that will change the appearance of your muscles. There's no spot reduction you can do where you can lose certain fat bits from certain areas and change the look of your bingo wings, your bums and your tums. It is simply a case of building more muscle and losing fat. Building muscle, losing fat. More muscle, less fat is what is going to get you that toned and aesthetic physique that you want, with that visual definition and firmness and roundness that makes you look healthy and toned. So that'll wrap up the video. I'd like to just say thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Ring that little bell as well so you get notified when we do our new uploads. I hope you've enjoyed me going into the myth of toning up. If there's any other training myths you'd like to hear us talk about, don't forget to let me know down in the comments, and your comment could be the fuel for the next video. So thank you very much guys for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.